La da da da. La da da da. La da da. La da da. Do 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 do. Da 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 do. Da 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 do. I'm gonna, why I feel like bringing a song too is at this time in my life, I've gone from being a very different person. So who Sarah was at the beginning of March and who Sarah is now is very different. And maybe some of you can relate to this journey, this metamorphosis, especially if you've been pregnant. I'm like 6.5 months pregnant, and the needs of my body are so consuming right now. And it's been really... Oh, my daughter's here. She has no more school. And so I've been thinking about people that may be able to relate with when there is something in your being that is all consuming of your energy. So for me, it's pretty like clear, like this big bubbly, this beautiful being here. But there's different things that consume our energy. There's thoughts, there's memories, there's relationships that can consume our energy. And I've been thinking about what do I do when I feel like there is almost like a black hole of attention going somewhere. And it's been a really long time for me personally, because I pride myself on being a very big go-getter, putting my energy out there in the world and making things happen. And so it's been this interesting study in my journey of actually feeling like immobilized and unsure, unable to access that sense of life force that has that clear path forward. And so if any of you guys can relate, if there's any of you that are maybe feeling that almost like amnesia or that aspect of this lack of direction, what has been really helpful for me is in this reorienting myself with direction has been remembering to get to the tools that I share with people. I've been teaching people on energetic hygiene for years, and it kind of just started making sense on how to return to that. So I wanted to share with you guys some of the tools that I've been using recently, not necessarily to actually get me on track with direction or progress or the future. I don't feel like that's what this time is right now. In my experience, it's more of a time of exploring how to maintain equilibrium and balance. And so one of the things that I do is, one of the tools that's been so helpful for me is having a morning tea ritual routine. So what that looks like for me is creating a space in your home or wherever you may be staying that you can kind of unfurl. So if you actually have a table that's ready, or have an altar, or have a place that you can sit and have tea, that's perfect. But some people don't have that luxury. So creating almost like an altar that you can unfurl to have your morning tea ritual with. So for me, it's really important that where I drink tea and what I'm looking at feels expansive. So I know I have the luxury of being in a beautiful beautiful island. I live on 5 acres of forest and orchards and ponds and creeks, and so I can look out into the expanse of that. But if you don't have that, finding a window, perhaps if you're home inside of or in an apartment, finding a place that has a window. And so why it's important to have a window is to have something for you that starts your day that represents like expansion and opening yourself up to what's beyond you. And so For me, that's the first step, is making sure that where I drink tea, there's a way of looking outwards and expanding. I also have I always like to feed my tea to the ancestors or to the spirits, and I light a candle and I light a little incense. And I realized that these little details, when I miss them or when I don't have them there, they actually affect my experience. And so I just want to encourage you during this time to think of what are little luxury details that can help you feel and fill the space that you're in with more beauty. So like today I picked up these, I don't know if you can see them in the back there, these beautiful, I harvested these beautiful lilacs. So this room is filled with lilacs. I have beeswax candles, making sure that there's beauty in your home, beauty that you're bringing into your space is really, really important at this time. Another tool that I found is really helpful is becoming that beauty. So regardless if you are gonna actually go out, for many of you, you may not be going out, is waking up and dressing up and, adorning yourself and putting on clothing that makes you feel really alive and beautiful and at home in your body. Because that's another tool, right? Is that I find that the days that I give myself the pleasure of putting on, clothing or doing my hair or braiding or putting flowers in my hair, that actually helps my body become enlivened to the day. So for any of you who also I can relate to spending all day long in my PJs, and I notice that actually keeps my energy on just very like a sleepy kind of drowsy level. So that's tip 2 to balancing oneself, is adorning yourself. And another tool that I've found, so earlier on I was singing, and you're welcome to go back and replay, and I just was doing a little song. And so another tool to keep myself in balance, and there's another tool of bringing more beauty into the day, is just singing and letting sounds move through your space. So whether it's just a free form like ele we un gogo wele o kokola wele lo 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 kokola wele yo, that's for you guys, or just humming or putting on music. If you don't feel comfortable with your voice, so I do encourage you to play with it, putting on music that fills the space up with life. So depending on what you want to balance yourself with, perhaps you want music that's going to meet you. So if you're feeling really, really tender and gentle, maybe you want to focus on music that reflects that to yourself. Or maybe if you're feeling kind of stagnant in that tender, gentle inwardness, find some music that's going to invoke you out of your space. So letting music also be this conduit for you. So as another opportunity of just shifting the energy in your home. Okay, so that's pretty obvious, but just in case you forget, I forget to put music on. Another tool that has been really important to me and is just making sure that you are connecting with fresh air and getting yourself outside and putting your hands on the dirt. And if you're in a city, there is still dirt in the city. And so what I found, like especially when I was living in a city and was needing to find ways of grounding myself, was getting acquainted. So just say you're in one place and there's finding a tree that's nearby and creating a relationship with that tree. It could be the tiniest little shrub ever on the block, but starting to create a relationship with something that is rooted in the earth or through the concrete, because that's going to start building your relationship with the natural world. I know a lot of folks are starting to get more into gardening or putting potted plants, and so that's been another tool, is like making sure that you've got some living things in your home. So finding a little plant that you can take care of, that you can have near your space, putting life into your home. Buy something that's bloomed, right? Like that's been really important for me, is like actually having like going out, and even though I haven't put them from seed, like finding something that's blooming or about to bloom and nurture that. And so that's why I think having flowers is really important, because flowers remind us that we are in spring, y'all. Maybe not some of you guys I know are in Toronto. I think it just snowed. Out here, though, it's very, very spring. And so those are just a few little teas. Another tool that I've learned during this time to help me balance myself is reading a book in my hands. So this has been huge for me. I haven't read a novel for like 8 years, I think. I don't know. Oh my gosh. I'm really into audiobooks and things that I can do while I'm doing other things. So actually taking the time to find a good magical novel and sit down with it, put your feet up, and get into that story world. And that's an amazing tool that you can use to slow your nervous system down and to let story guide you and to let your body actually rest and replenish so that you're not taking in a bunch of screens. So I personally have not been doing much work on the screen, which is ironic because I have an online business, and since COVID I've not wanted to touch it at all. Like, enough screen. So that's a little, my daughter's curling up here. Do you want to share any tools for keeping balance? No, it's want to come say hi to people? It's just a screen thing.
Oh, and also, you're not 6 weeks pregnant. 6 months pregnant. You're 7 months pregnant.
I'm almost 7 months pregnant. She wants to make sure you all know that.
7 months pregnant. Mama, we're in May.
Okay, so that has been Sarah's advice for keeping in balance, bringing more beauty into your home, into your life. Feel free to recap, re-listen, and thank you for your attention. Blessings.